Hi, everyone. This is Pastor Josh here for your midweek message. And this week we're talking about Lazarus from the book of John and the raising of Lazarus. And it's a simple story. It's the last miracle in John, which is the most powerful or the most amazing, if you will. The book of John works in accelerating miracles, I guess you'd say, or miracles that increase in difficulty up until the resurrection. Because after this miracle, Jesus then is crucified and then raises from the dead. And that's important because it's trying to show that Jesus has increasing powers and has the divine will of God on his side. So the text for today has a lot of interesting implications, and we can look at it from Jesus' point of view or from the disciples' point of view. But the idea of Mary and Martha, I think, is the most interesting for what we've been talking about, since Lent is this season of figuring out why we need God, and their statements were they sent off for Jesus to come and heal their father, Lazarus, and he doesn't come, and the man dies. And when Jesus shows up, Lazarus has been in the ground like 4 days. And they get upset with Jesus. They said, if you could have come earlier, you would have saved him. If you would have come earlier, this wouldn't have happened. If you would have come earlier, this would not have happened. And Jesus does what Jesus does and says, roll the stone away. And they say, hey, he's going to smell. It's going to be awful. He's been dead 4 days. And he convinces them, and they finally roll the stone away. And it gets me thinking about how we limit God, how we think that God, who is in the miracle business, who is in the business of exceeding our expectations, he can heal a man who's about to die, but he can't raise him from the dead. Well, he can't raise him from the dead. If he does that, then he can't raise himself from the dead. Like we put these limits on God. We put these limits on God of what God can do and what God can do through us. We can't do X. We can't make that happen. We always want to think that God has some form of limitation, and it's really not true. The biggest limit on God out there is us. We don't have the level of faith needed. We don't have the level of commitment required to see God move in ways that have been never known before. It is not that the power of God is insufficient. It is that our faith is lacking, and that's why we need God. That's why we need reminders that God is in the miracle business. And when we limit God shows us that that's not the case. And so that's what I'll leave you with. That stop limiting God. I do it, you do it, we all do it. We always think God is in this box that we paint for him, and God isn't. So I hope that helps, and I'll see you on Sunday. God bless.